What up, Toronto Raptors fans? It's Hot Take Jay here, coming back at you with another video. This is what I think is going to be the Toronto Raptors starting five. So put your phone down somewhere and just listen to what I'm about to say. We're gonna have a lot of interesting conversation because I think this year it's gonna be really interesting, and I think the starting lineups, just like last year, are going to be very interchangeable. And Nick Nurse is gonna throw a lot of different things out there, so don't be surprised when the starting lineup isn't what I say or what anyone else says, because Raptors, we do things a little differently, and that's just how it goes. And last year we dealt with a lot of injuries. We had a lot of different lineups, so I think we had around 30 or 20 different starting five lineups. But anyways, let's get back into it. So for point guards, first of all, I'm gonna go through the depth. So first of all, for point guards, we have Fred VanVleet for point guard. Backup is Malachi Flynn, and a backup for him is Delano Banton, Toronto guy. I think 46th pick, and maybe Goran Dragic at number one. And shooting guards, I got Gary Trent Jr. and Dragic. So that's gonna be another. That's gonna be interesting to talk about as well. Small forwards, we have OG Scotty Barnes. Sorry, OG Ananobi, Scotty Barnes, Utah Watanabe, and Stanley Johnson. And for power forwards, we have Siakam, Chris Boucher, and we have Precious Achua. Center, Kem Birch, Precious Achua as well, and Freddie Gillespie. So, my prediction is this is going to be the starting lineup. Since Kyle Lowry left, we're going to have Fred VanVleet running the point. So, he's going to have to be more of a playmaker this season instead of a shoot first guard, really. So, he's going to have to be a primary ball handler, playmaker. Shooting guard, I have Gary Trent Jr. Small forward, OG Ananobi, that's a lock. So that's a for sure thing. So point guard and small forward, those positions are locked in. Power forward, so this is where it gets a little bit interesting. So Siakam's going to be out for 2 months. My prediction is 1 or 2 months. He got surgery at the end of the season, so he's still recovering, and I wouldn't be surprised if we make him sit just a little bit longer, just to make sure his injury is fine. Shoulder injuries are very, very, very hard in the game of basketball. They're hard to recover from, and they're hard to be 100%. They're hard to come back and be 100%. So I think Boucher is gonna be a starter for the start of the season, because last year he definitely proved he can have a starting position on the team, and I think any team really he could start power forward for. He's a very good scorer. He's a very good. I think he was a top 3-point block shots. He was the leader in 3-point block shots. He was a great scorer off the bench, and he's really good. He can create his own shots. So he's one guy that I actually wanted to start him at one point in the season. He's very good. He can score the ball really well. He can defend really well. Kem Birch, I think, is going to be the starting center. And now that's a tricky position too, is because our starters will vary from Precious and Kem Birch. Precious and Kem Birch. I could see Nick Nurse putting Precious in some nights as starter and Kem Birch as starter some nights. It depends. I think that spot is, people are really gonna have to fight for that spot. And as for Freddie Gillespie, I think he's gonna be maybe cut for the team or just put in the G League. He's a D3 player. He's really just a rebounder and shot blocker. I mean, when he gets the ball on offense, he really does not know what to do. And what do you really expect from this guy? I mean, I don't expect a lot from this guy, but last year when he came in, him and Kem Birch came in, it looked a lot better than Aaron Baines. Let me tell you that. Freddie Gillespie brought to the table some very much needed rebounder. He's a very tough player, and how he gets his money, how he survives on the NBA floor is pure hustle. Nothing else. So pure hustle, pure defense, pure shot blocking, and he knows where to be on the court on offense. And I mean, he's very undersized as well, but he plays big. He plays bigger than his height. So that is why he is a center and not a power forward. I don't think he can stretch the floor and be a power forward, but he's strictly going to be center. Precious Achua, he'll most likely be a backup. but that's not a bad thing. He does have a mid-range game. He can stretch the floor a little bit. In the summer league, he had a very, very impressive. He was very. I think he was like one of the most impressive players in the summer league out of like almost everyone I watched. Um, yeah, and this is kind of my notes and what I have of the starting five. Like this is what I want to see happen during the season. If these things that I say, if we can't put this all together, and if this can't work, then I think we do not have a playoff spot. If I say what I say in this video about all these types of if what I say in this video happens, we will make the playoffs. If something's off, something's wrong, what I say is not expected to happen, then I think we will fall deep in the rankings. So we have to get it together. And it's honestly there's a lot. It's a lot of pressure for these players now. Like they gotta really prove what's happening. So Fred VanVleet, this is his role on the team right now. So he's a leader of the team, a very strong leader, a very wise leader. Um, the dominant playmaker. So he's gonna have to be the number one playmaker. So he's gonna have to fill that role in for Kyle Lowry. So his weaknesses, though, and this is what he has to work on. Shot creation. So he doesn't have like, he's not super shifty. He's not a super handles guy. He's not insanely quick. He's like he can get locked up. Like you can play defense on Fred VanVleet. It's not the most horrible thing in the world. Finishing around the basket, that's another one. So he has to find a way, like a certain layup package, or find a move to get to the rim. Let's see what else I have. So Malachi Flynn, here's what I have on Malachi Flynn. He's a strong backup point guard already. So I had high expectations of him, and he did fill my expectations of him. But one thing I will admit that I was too hard on this kid when he first came in as a rookie. I was like, this guy should be doing more. But no, he was a rookie, and he was like a 26th pick. And like what I saw really impressed me. So this is the things I kind of saw last season and what he needs to kind of improve. He's a strong backup point guard. He's wise for his age, so he has that leadership mentality, and he has that win now mentality, and he will sacrifice anything for a win. He will put his body on the line every game and play hard every game, which I love. And he's a typical Raptor player. His insane IQ, his insane vision. He's a great pick and roll player. So with the center, he has a multitude of moves he can do with the center. So he can hit the center and he'll give them a really nice pass. He's a really good passer, and he can play off with use his handle for a shot, which I love. So that's beautiful. He's a great defender. He has good hands for his size. He's only 6'1". He's a really good on-ball defender, and he makes it hard for people to score on him. So that's really good. And he can get steals in the paint from a big man. He can get down there and get dirty. I love that too. Oh yeah, and typical rookie mistakes. Like he gets countless turnovers, like he'll have bad stretches of playing, and then he'll come back and have really good stretches of play. Just something to clean up for him. Like I know it's his second year, and I'm not really that's just something to watch out for. I'm not really harping on him too hard, like he's not a superstar player. He's a great backup bench player. So as long as he's leading the bench and he can score and facilitate, it's going to be just fine. Dragic. So this is what I have for Dragic. He's going to be a good addition to scoring off the bench. He knows how to score, and he knows how to shoot well and get to the bucket well. He's a very good veteran player, and he's going to provide a lot of veteran leadership to these younger players that we have on the team, since we have a young nucleus. Delano Banton, if he's not in the G League and if he gets called up to the Toronto Raptors to play a few games, his shot needs fixing, and he's very good on defense. He's similar to Josh Giddey, but with better defense. That's basically my take on him. Not too high on Josh Giddey because Josh Giddey is really just a 6'8" passer with no defense and not a huge offensive game. So a lot of people are high on him. I'm not too high on him. So we have that in Delano Banton, and I think right now, hot take, Delano Banton will be better than Josh Giddey. Sorry, hot take. Maybe that's a hot take. I don't know, but that's what like just judging on the film I've seen. That's what I see. I think Delano Banton has a higher ceiling, and he's a second round pick. So that's a steal of the draft right there. If we can develop him right there, like I think he's gonna be something crazy. And he's 6'9", so I mean he's almost there. He just needs 1-2 years in summer league, whatever. You know what I mean? Gary Trent Jr. He's the best shot creator on this team. You know what I mean? He's 22. He's only 22, and he's a big shot. He hits big shots. He hits very big shots. He can create off the dribble, mid range. He can shoot from three. He had a 40% shooting percentage from the field. Yo, this guy is nothing to play around with, man. I think for the Raptors to be successful, I think he's gonna have to have 20 shots a night at least to be successful, and he's gonna hit most of them. And he's gonna work on that consistency. You know, it's not gonna be all there, but for the Raptors to succeed, we're gonna have to have him shooting on a high volume for it to be successful. And now for his defense, a lot of people say that he's a bad defender, and a lot of people say he's a good defender. I think he's a good defender. He moves his feet quick on defense. Last year, I understand if you thought he was a bad defender on the Raptors. I could see it a little bit, but it's just learning the defensive schemes. He was only there for I think 15 or 16 games. So I mean, that's not really a huge sample size for anything, and he was still learning every game, the offense and the defense, and he did very well in my opinion. OG Anunoby for small forward, he's a 3-and-D player, great 3-and-D player. He shoots with great efficiency, and he's always making the smart play. He's always making the smart pass. He's always making the right play at the right time. So I really don't have any great weaknesses on his game. And last year we saw him create off the dribble a little bit, which I think that he's going to implement more this year. And that's really my only thing for him is to take more shots. And even if it's like he doesn't want to, I think he should just take more shots. And when he gets the ball, I think he should just be more dominant, because I think I see it in his game that he has the potential to just take over games, but he just really doesn't. He's really just like acting like a role player sometimes, which I think he should just kind of like in his mind kind of be like, I'm the star now. I have to be a star now. I think he can make a big jump next year with points per game. I hope it jumps up to like around 19 to 20 points a game. And I think that will be fairly easy for him, and he'll shoot that with good efficiency, you know. If he has to create off the dribble a little more, I hope he just gets used to that, and I hope he can keep doing that, cuz that's how he's really going to jump from like here to like he's going to go way high if he can hit those tough shots. Siakam, he'll be injured, so Boucher will be a starter. Siakam's due for a big year for this team to be successful. I mean, if he's not having a big year, then I think that we will fall in the East. I think it won't look as pretty, but I know Pascal Siakam will. I know he's due for a big year, and I think he can prove a lot of people wrong this year. So that's my take on Siakam. Boucher's going to just ball out. He's going to ball out and score. He's going to be a freaking... he's going to... Yeah. He can do everything on the court. And he's just like... I really admire his game. He's like... He reminds me a little bit of a mini KD in a sense. Scotty Barnes. So, people have him for Rookie of the Year candidate. And here's my take of why I don't think that's true. Not doubting him, I think he could be a runner-up, possibly, but the media is going to really focus on Cade Cunningham and Jalen Green. I think those are going to be the two top players, and maybe, in my opinion, I think Jalen Green might win Rookie of the Year if Cade Cunningham doesn't. If Cade Cunningham can't get the Detroit Pistons at least like 5 more wins this year, I think Jalen Green can really just take that. But then again, Cade Cunningham has a better overall game than Jalen Green, but I think Jalen Green has a way better scoring ability than Cade Cunningham. That's just my opinion. But Scotty Barnes won't be looked at in that light as a scorer just yet. It will take just a little bit of time and a little bit of adjusting. It's not going to look really pretty so far. So, but my biggest thing for Scotty Barnes is playmaking and defense. That's what he's gonna bring. Playmaking and defense. And he's gonna score occasionally, and he's gonna make the right read, and he's gonna make the right pass, and he's gonna be correct on defense. So that's gonna be a big, big, big help. Utah Watanabe, he's a good defender, a team player, but he is yet to be a reliable scorer. That's my thing. Like, we have all these defense guys. We bring in all these defense first guys that don't know how to score. I think the Raptors should kind of take it down a notch and be like, okay, let's find a scorer. We have all these defenders. That doesn't always work out in the NBA. It's not always a thing. You need to score the ball. Like last year, we had like 4 minutes, 5 minutes of not scoring. And when was on the court last year, it looked ugly sometimes because he would play great defense. He would get a stop, but when we need some buckets off the bench, he's nowhere to be found most of the time. And he had a streak of bad games where he was doing everything, but he just wasn't scoring the ball. And he did have some good offensive games, but I mean, he needs to be a more consistent scorer, I think. And I think if he can't do that this year, I think the Raptors are really going to consider him as a Raptor after that. But I like Utah Watanabe. I just think I want him to score even more next year. He needs to step into that role, and he needs to be in his head like, yo, if I don't score the ball and if I'm not good next year, I don't know what my career is in the NBA. That's what I have. Stanley Johnson, man, I really don't have high hopes of this guy at all. He has to have a big season. Last year was really his moment to shine, but he was not it. He's just a defender, and that's it. He cannot play make or score the ball at all. Like, I know he had some good games last year, but it really didn't add up on a consistent basis at all. It was very, very hard to watch Stanley Johnson play at in some moments. That's why I say it would be okay if the Raptors stepped down a little bit and just got some scores. Let's get one or two scores off the bench. Let's just take a step down from all the defense for a second, and let's see if we can score the ball at a higher level, because last year was hard to watch on the scoring, and it was not fun to watch. I want to see fun basketball. Gary Trent Jr. is a fun basketball player to watch, and I want him to start that shooting guard position. And if he doesn't, I'm gonna be pretty mad. Oh yeah, also Ishmael Wainwright, PJ Tucker. I call him mini PJ Tucker. Just like I said, if you watch basketball, if you watch PJ Tucker, he just plays exactly like him. So we had Raptors had PJ Tucker at one point. So if we can develop him, I don't know if he's gonna be officially on the roster or as a two-way contract. I don't know. I think he's a little too old to be in the G League, to be honest with you. I think so. But I don't know where he's standing on the team. Maybe he's gonna be like, I don't know. I think maybe he'll be like very, very deep on the roster somewhere. But I hope he gets some minutes, and I hope he can show off he's a great shooter. And I think we have Sam Dekker. I think he's yet to be on the team. I think I don't know if his roster spot is official. Sam Dekker, yeah. Watched a little bit of his highlights. He's a good shooter, so hopefully he can bring that to our team. We desperately need some good shooters. We do have good shooters. We have players that can just simply do everything, but we do have weaknesses, and one weakness is scoring. So I hope that can be fixed. As for the standings, are we a playoff team? That's yet to be decided. I think the roster is much better than last year. We have a lot of holes that we filled. We have we have a steady rotation for a center position, and these are big guys that move their feet, play with high energy, and they can dunk the ball. I mean, Precious Achua was a steal, and he's gonna be very big. I think he's gonna be a star. Like, he's gonna be one of those underrated players that are really, really good, that are just gonna be slept on. Like, he's a really good player. When I was watching, honestly, when I was watching the Miami Heat last year, I was like, how can we get this guy? How can we get Precious Achua? Like, cause he moves his feet and he's very explosive. And I seen him hit a couple mid ranges. Like, I watched the Miami Heat last year when he played some solid minutes, and he can block. He's a great defender. Like, he's nothing less than great on defense. Like, he tries so hard on defense, and he gets insane blocks. He's an insane player. He plays way bigger than his height. He's gonna be like, man, I think we're gonna look way better last year. Our second unit, if we can get our second unit together, and if we can get Gary Trent Jr. to have a high scoring like every night, I think we can make the playoffs. Other than that, I don't know. But anyways, to wrap this up, I'm just gonna say once again, thank you. Like and subscribe, share the video, do what you need to do. You know what I mean? Yeah. Peace.